Chase!
That was good. That was really good.
That was better, but welcome into Scoop City. I'm the Athletic Senior NFL Insider, Dianna Russini.
And I'm Chase Daniel, played 14 years in the NFL, and I'm an official tire changer. Just changed my wife's flat tire today. Not cool.
I like that you can change a tire. I feel like there's a lot of men in the world that don't know how to do that. That's a good skill set to have. When females want to turn the page on something in their life, or they want to shed the issues that are going on, women all do the same thing. Females do this, right? They cut their hair. Have you ever noticed that? It's almost like they're shedding the issues. They're shedding the problems, starting anew. I'm cutting my hair. I've done it before.
My wife's sister just cut her hair like 6 inches, so I wonder if something's coming.
So that makes me wonder about Joe Burrow. He said he was just bored. Imagine being I'm bored. I'm going to shave my head and dye it blonde.
How long do you think he probably thought about that answer to that question? I'm just bored. Let's just say I'm bored.
Look, that's my point. I think there's a reason.
Joe likes to be talked about and seen.
No, this is what I think it is. I think Joe goes, I've been unhealthy. I've had some injuries. Something's got to change. Getting rid of the hair, getting rid of all the attention, and I'm going to focus on starting new. So all Joe's got to do is stay healthy because he's in a good situation. He's not in a situation like we see around the league right now where you've got veteran quarterbacks in a quarterback room with young rookies who were drafted at the top of the draft on day one, who are most likely going to be the future of those franchises. So you have teams like Minnesota, Atlanta. I want to get into that with you. I want to talk about the dynamic of a quarterback room when you have a veteran guy in there with a rookie. So I want to ask you about it, but I thought it'd be good to ask a quarterback who just experienced it. And that's former Tennessee Titans quarterback Ryan Tannehill. I know he's a good friend of yours. You spent some time with him. And then we'll get into some training camp bods, so to speak. Some guys are showing up jacked. Is this good or bad?
No, but
we'll talk about that later on in the show. But for now, let's go. Let's get to it. What I'm hearing around the league. So training camp appears to be in full swing here. And of course, we're going to have some contract issues that we have to address. We got hold-ins. We got some holdouts. Chase, what are you paying attention to the most right now?
The 49ers have one of each. What the heck is going on over there with Trent Williams, who isn't officially a holdout, and Brandon Aiyuk, who is still on his rookie contract? He's a hold-in. I have some interesting thoughts on this, but I want you to go first. And what are we hearing about both Trent Williams and Brandon Aiyuk?
Well, you look at a player like Trent Williams, right? He's the enforcer, the heart and soul of this team. He's the guy leading them out of the tunnel. 36-year-old, 11-time Pro Bowler, right? They need him. This is not something that they want to play around with, and I expect this to get fixed soon. This was not a surprise to the 49ers, Chase. They were aware of it. It appeared to be a surprise, I think, around the league and to fans.
Yeah.
Especially because all eyes were on Brandon Aiyuk, who is the opposite, right? It was like very much out there. He wants to be traded. He shows up either way, though, right? He was in street clothes day one, day two, hanging out, watching practice. He's not participating. But in terms of Trent, he's doing it the old school way, right? He's not showing up. He's willing to pay the fines.
Subject to fines.
And we both know what he's trying to do, right? He's looking across the league. He's seeing other left tackles get paid, and he's going, all right, I need to get some adjustment here and get some guaranteed money on my deal. So I expect them to address this pretty quickly and fix this. As for Brandon Aiyuk, we saw him talking to John Lynch on the field. And I wish we had one of those TikTok lip readers. Have you ever seen that on TikTok where the person just like reads the lips of the celebrities of like, what are they saying?
Yeah.
I assumed when I saw Aiyuk walking back into the building with John Lynch that was really John Lynch going, you being out here is distracting. Like you shouldn't be here, because I've seen this before around the league where if you're not playing, if you're not in gear and out on the field, I don't want you around. But that wasn't the case, because he was back out there today. The San Francisco 49ers have all been on the same page over the last few weeks about making sure they get a deal done with Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from what you're saying and my thoughts on the whole situation is Trent Williams is officially a holdout. He is subject to fines that can no longer be waived from the CBA. So you're seeing this new thing of hold-ins. Okay, well, go to Brandon Aiyuk. I get the Trent Williams. Trent Williams has all the leverage in the world on the team because he stayed away. They need their tackle. They need to protect Brock Purdy. Brandon Aiyuk, however, he's still on his rookie deal, so he is not subject to fines. So why would you go to the team, lose all the leverage when you're not going to get fined if you stay away? So it's just an interesting situation to me because Brandon Aiyuk being there, I agree with you. From an outsider's perspective, it's a distraction. So why do you go in? Why do you, I don't know. And quite honestly, only he knows. He's trying to be a good teammate. My question to you to follow up on all this is the guy, the trigger man, Brock Purdy, does that play into all of this? Because I've heard around the league, and you could probably tell me better than anyone else, the next offseason he's due for at least a $55 million a year contract if he plays the way he played the last 2 years.
See, I agree with you about the $55 million number for Brock Purdy. But we're going to see Dak Prescott get paid $60 million most likely, right? I believe Dak Prescott will be the first quarterback to break it and to get into that 60 number. So you're telling me Brock Purdy's not going to come to the table next year if he has a successful season, if they make a deep run to the playoffs? It's
going to be more.
It's going to be more, right? So yes, 55.
You just set the internet ablaze because people are so torn on Brock Purdy, the player, the person, like not as a person, but the player. Like some are like, oh, it's the system. Some are, I think he deserves it all.
The market is what the market is. We will say that on this show until everything gets done. We're watching Jordan Love right now. Wait for that deal to get complete, and the market is what the market is. And I expect him to be the highest paid quarterback until Dak gets paid. I think that's the way it's going to play out there.
Yeah. Let's go to Dak's receiver, CeeDee Lamb, who is also on the rookie deal. He is officially a holdout. He is not reported to Oxnard, California, where the Cowboys have training camp. I actually saw a video today of him training in Houston. And we saw Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones both say he wants at least $35 million. He wants to be the highest paid receiver, which gives me a little bit like he's, in my opinion, he does not deserve it. What are you hearing on that contract?
You don't think CeeDee Lamb deserves after the monster season he had last year?
I do not think he deserves to be paid more than Justin Jefferson. No, I do
And
not.
I think that's what the Dallas Cowboys problem is. That's how they view it. I don't believe that they think that he should break that number. Stephen Jones was on the show with us last week. He pointed that out. You look at the Minnesota Vikings situation, their finances, they're not paying any player over $20 million a year, he shared with us, right? So the Dallas Cowboys have a lot of business to attend to. So look, I don't necessarily believe that that's CeeDee Lamb's problem. CeeDee Lamb is going to demand the money he thinks he's worth. So he's holding out from having conversations. I don't see this getting ironed out over the next few days. I think this is going to be something we're going to see leading into next week, maybe even the week after. This isn't one of those situations where I'm getting vibes, signs, positive attitude from both sides. It just seems like it's a challenge for the Dallas Cowboys to get there. As we know, they're trying to get Dak done. Not sure what they're going to do with Micah Parsons, if they're going to kick that can down the road and make that an issue for next year. But obviously the headline again becomes, why are the Dallas Cowboys continuing to do business this way and kick the can instead of just getting it done?
I agree. Let's move on to two other quarterbacks that we've heard a lot about, specifically from you and our Scoop City podcast, Jordan Love and Tua. What's the latest going on with those two contracts?
Right, so we touched on it. I think the Jordan Love thing is close. I think they have a few items to, we'll call it check the box. Both sides just feel
How
really
close? Good. How close? Like days or weeks, like you said in your Scoop City newsletter?
I had a friend say to me that when you are signing a big deal or you're giving a big contract to a quarterback or a star player, it's almost like cooking bacon. You know how bacon needs to be cooked just right or it gets burned? And I love that analogy. And I feel like I want to say to you like, this could happen the second this podcast stops recording. Yeah, but I don't know if Green Bay is going to just wait till tomorrow, the next day, to agree to this if everyone is on board at the same time. Then you have logistics of things that are going on, where people are, where they want to be when this actually goes down and they sign the contract. So I think for now, if Green Bay Packers are concerned, they shouldn't be, because it's at least going to get done. Obviously, nobody wants to see Jordan Love not practicing. That's the issue. That's the frustration that I'm hearing coming out of Green Bay. And the coaches are dying for him to get back on the field to play. And I'm sure Jordan too, right? I mean,
he's dying on to get on the field and play. It just doesn't make sense. Like, get it done. The number is going to be the highest paid quarterback, at least right now, is what I'm thinking. What you're hearing.
It's not about the APY. It's not about how much money he's making per year. Okay. It's just that it is the structure, which we've discussed. And as for Tua, so you and I were talking recently about how this deal doesn't feel as close as the Jordan Love. Do I think it gets done? Yeah. This situation is different in Jordan Love because they are discussing the number. It is about APY. Is he in that Trevor Lawrence range, right? We're going back to the market says what the market says. So it's in there's a 5 there that they're.
Do you think there's? Okay, that was my question. Does it start with a 5? It
starts with a 5.
Okay, so they're not too far away. I was thinking it might start with a 4.
There was a time.
What they've been offering.
There was a time.
Okay.
There was a time where 4 was.
They've gotten to the 5s. Let's go.
So we will see if this continues to move in the direction towards getting done, because they're in the same situation. Tua's there holding in. And, geez, I can't remember the last time a quarterback held in. I've been thinking about it. I've been Googling it. I don't recall. So this has been quite a unique training camp where we're seeing quarterbacks do this. Normally the quarterback is showing up or staying away completely, right? It's one or the other. But to do the hold in, to be part of the team, to be in the meetings, which why do you think quarterbacks are choosing to hold in versus doing that the old way of the holdout?
Yeah. So quarterbacks, in my opinion, are the most popular guy on the team. They're the leader. They're the person that rah-rahs. Everyone looks at them when they think of the team, right? Let's be honest. They get way too much credit when things go right, and they get way too much blame when things go wrong. That's the story of a life of an NFL quarterback. I believe most quarterbacks now are holding in. 1, they don't want to pay the fine. They just are sick and tired of it. They're like, that doesn't mean nothing. 2, you're in the building and you're showing your teammates you still want to be part of this team. You're still able to lead. You're able to do everything but practice. And I promise you, in these dog days of camp, maybe day 10 or 11, when it's 1s versus 1s and you have Sean Clifford instead of Jordan Love going up against the 1 defense, that offense can't get better without their starter on the field, because there is a big drop off. I love Sean Clifford. I love Michael Pratt from Tulane. There's a huge drop off right there in skill. And so I do think eventually these hold-ins make a lot of sense for quarterbacks.
Okay, so those are the situations at training camp with the hold-ins and the holdouts, and this will continue to develop over the next few weeks. So Chase, I really wanted this show to be about the veteran quarterbacks that are dealing with rookie quarterbacks in their quarterback room. So we've got 3 teams across the league that are dealing with it. Let's start with New England. Gerard Mayo has been very transparent and open with saying Jacoby Brissett is the starter. Drake May is going to learn. We're going to build this foundation, almost as if the dream scenario for New England right now would be almost not seeing Drake, right? It's Jacoby can do this and he can run this offense and we'll continue to develop our young quarterback. I think sometimes when you do that, it makes sense from a covering the team space because there's no drama then, right? It's just Jacoby's job. But my question for you is, what happens if during camp Drake May is lights out? How do you take that back? How do you operate with Jacoby then?
You're hoping that Drake May is lights out in camp when you draft him number 3 overall. Or they are probably thinking to themselves, why do we draft this guy? I just go back to my film study on Drake May in college and got all the skill in the world. Very, very raw, lacks experience, big time arm, big country guy. Reminds me a little bit of like Phillip Rivers. The size, the arm, probably a better athlete than Phillip. But I just didn't see on film, and I broke down a lot of film of these rookie quarterbacks for the draft. for this past draft. I didn't see enough to make me think, man, he's day one starter in the NFL. And quite honestly, Gerard Mayo thinks that they have a very good team. And I believe that he just wants to trust Jacoby Brissett to go out there and have them in the thick of a playoff race. In my opinion, if you start Drake May, which it doesn't, I don't think they should right now. It's probably a throwaway season for them because he's going to make some rookie mistakes. He's going to have to grow. And quite honestly, it might hurt his ability to progress to become a better starter. You see it all the time with even Patrick Mahomes, the best player in the history of the game of football, in my opinion, already. Yes, I said he's better than Tom Brady. He just needs to win a couple more Super Bowls. He sat for a year under Alex Smith. Okay, you look at Jordan Love. We just talked about him. He sat for a couple years. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, if you're in late November and you've won 4 games and you're the Patriots, Drake May is going to be starting. But I just can't see in any world right now. They paid Jacoby enough money to let him start, and he's got plenty of ability. It just is about really that receiver room is what I'm worried about. And so that is why you don't want to put a rookie quarterback with a position group that can't really separate. And so good offensive line. I just don't know if they have the weapons right now to surround him. He would have to carry that team, Drake May would. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Let's go to Minnesota, where the Vikings paid Sam Darnold around $10 million to step in there once Kirk Cousins made that decision to go to Atlanta. We'll get there in a second. But let's stay in Minnesota, where Darnold's lighting up my social media feeds with some of the throws he's making in practice. He seems to be really comfortable already. Obviously, that's why they brought him in there, because he's a veteran and has now played on multiple different teams and different offenses. So J.J. McCarthy is there, though. So the plan is for Sam Darnold to be the starter. We'll just keep leaning on that pole position, right? No one's come out and clearly said it there, but that's the plan from what I was told, that it's Sam Darnold is going to take the lead. So how do you think this is going to play out?
I mean, I think Sam Darnold starts the year without a doubt. I do think the situation with J.J. McCarthy is a little bit more different because of the surroundings that are placed around J.J., the quarterback coach McCown, the head coach Kevin O'Connell, and that scheme and that offense, Jefferson, Jordan Addison, the offensive line around him, the weapons at running back, everything around the Minnesota Vikings team on offense, the playmakers, the offensive line is significantly better than what we had in New England with Drake May. So I do think J.J. McCarthy could step in and play and win some games. However, it is a very difficult scheme. Kevin O'Connell's scheme is very difficult to learn. It's not easy for a rookie quarterback. I think just the verbiage is really long. There's a lot of checks at the line of scrimmage, all this stuff that just doesn't play super well for a rookie quarterback. And you've heard Kevin O'Connell, and you probably talked to him about it. You've heard Kevin O'Connell in the media say, we have a specific plan for J.J. McCarthy. They don't want to rush it. My whole thing about rookie quarterbacks, if you rush it, they're probably going to struggle. They need some time to sort of step back. You can learn a lot from the sideline. I wouldn't be surprised at some point if J.J. is ready. I thought he was the most pro-ready of any quarterback because he played in Harbaugh's scheme in Michigan. I just never saw J.J. on film in college drop back on 3rd and 10, throw a dagger with a blitzer in his face. It was very, they didn't use him to his full ability. So I have a little bit of questions, a lot of questions about that. Can he, in 3rd and 10, drop back, throw a dagger route over the middle of the field, versus pressure? I don't know, but I do think he's got a really good possibility to be starting before the season's end.
Well, you mentioned patience in Minnesota. I'm curious how much patience Michael Penix Jr. has in Atlanta, right? So Kirk Cousins,
he's 24,
joins Atlanta during free agency. They pay him a boatload of money. It appears that the direction of this team is going to be in the lap of Kirk Cousins. They believe that he's the type of quarterback that they need in order to get over this hump and to have some success. But then in the draft, despite having needs, they make what a lot of people around the league believe to be a bizarre pick with Michael Penix Jr. at the quarterback position, surprising Kirk Cousins.
That's the issue.
And making it awkward. So, look, it's Kirk Cousins as the starter now. That's been made very clear. How do you see this one playing out?
I mean, I think it's Kirk Cousins' team without a doubt. I think new offensive coordinator Zach Robinson comes over from the Rams with Raheem Morris, who is the head coach now of the Atlanta Falcons, and they run a very similar offensive style that Kirk Cousins really loves playing. He's played in that scheme before with Sean McVay in Washington. He's very, very comfortable in that scheme, and quite honestly, you're going to see a lot of under center, play action, jet sweeps, jet motions, misdirections, throw the ball down the field. They got Drake London, they got Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. They got some really good playmakers. And quite honestly, you look at that division. That division's really winnable. If you go 500, you're probably winning the division, the NFC South. As far as Michael Penix Jr. goes, the dude has an absolute cannon. There was an issue with him coming out on the injury stuff, the injury bug. It obviously did not help him in his draft process, but then you go to draft night, everyone's like, he's going to go like maybe first, second round. He's top 10 pick, right? And so I think that was probably most surprising, because when you actually turn on his film, you watch it, it's really good. Like, he's got a strong arm. He can process information really well. He throws, without a doubt, the best deep ball of any of the rookie quarterbacks, including Caleb Williams of this year. I just think he's going to have to sit back. He's going to learn. But you do know, because you draft a guy so high in Atlanta, okay, in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, like, if Kirk Cousins has a 2 or 3 interception game, they are going to be some major boo birds out, and they're going to be chanting Michael Penix Jr.'s name. I know that without a doubt. But also, I just don't want people to sleep on Kirk Cousins. Kirk O'Chains is coming off one of the best years of his career 2 years ago. I know he got hurt last year. Like, he is really, really underrated. So do not count him out. He's still young enough to make some plays and to be really in this offense that Zach Robinson runs, the offensive coordinator. You just want to be a point guard at quarterback. You just want to be able to get it to your receivers, let them do the bulk of the work, and I think that's what they're going to lean heavily on.
Yeah, and he appears to have really ingrained himself in the Atlanta way already based on what I've been seeing at practice. He seems really happy, and he's going to actually join us next Tuesday. He will be our guest on Scoop City Episode 5, because we thought he'd be a great person to really pick his brain on how he wants this offense to look, because we do have a lot of questions with Zach Robinson being a first-time play caller. What are we going to see? And also, I want to hear about how this transition has been. I know that was hard for his family to go from Minnesota. They wanted to be there, but his wife Julie lives in the Atlanta area. That's where she's from. So now that they're back home, I really want to find out what that's like for them now that they feel maybe at home, a little bit more at home now, and also obviously very well paid. So he will join us next Tuesday. Looking forward to that. So Chase, you and Ryan Tannehill spent some time together at family camp. Quickly explain family camp to those who don't know.
Family camp is a camp that we've been going to for the past 3 years. It's a Christian dude ranch in Estes Park, Colorado, 10,000 feet up, and pretty much a bunch of quarterback families get together, and we go out and have a wonderful week of worship. We are able to go to the river and river raft. We're able to ride horses. We're able to just spend time with families in a mountain environment, and it was excellent. All
right, so you spend time with Ryan Tannehill, who currently does not have a job, all right? So he's starting training camp. He's not on a team. But last year, he went through an experience that a lot of quarterbacks in the league are going through, which is, hey, by the way, we're going to draft a quarterback here, even though you're the starter right now. So the Tennessee Titans called Ryan Tannehill when they were on the clock to inform him we're going after Will Levis. Eventually, Ryan was injured, and Will Levis stepped in and wound up winning the job and keeping the job despite Ryan being able to come back. The organization felt that Will Levis deserved the opportunity to finish out the season. So now Ryan is spending a lot of time doing the things that he likes to do, like spearfishing, flying planes, while he waits for the call from a team that needs a quarterback. So here's Ryan Tannehill. He's Texas A&M superstar wide receiver and quarterback. Of course, the guy that was drafted by the Miami Dolphins in 2012, eventually traded to the Tennessee Titans in 2019. Ryan Tannehill, this comeback player of the year, joined Scoop City. Ryan, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
Where are you right now?
I'm actually in the Bahamas. I'm soaking up the sun, trying to spend some time on the water. So life's good.
Take us inside the day in the life of Ryan Tannehill if you're going spearfishing.
So I use a pole spear primarily in the Bahamas. So you can't use a gun like you see a lot of people use in the United States. In the Bahamas, you either got to use a sling or a pole spear. So it's basically like a 11-foot long pole with a rubber band on the back of it, and you just run your hand up the pole, hold on, and then when you let go, the rubber band propels it forward. But you don't have a lot of range with that. So typically you got to get your spear tip within 2 feet or so from your target to get it there fast enough to get a kill shot.
We know you're focused on that, but you obviously know it's training camp season, right? We're here. Football's here. You've been doing this for a long time. You're not on a team right now. What does it feel like, right, not going to training camp?
Honestly, it feels good. It feels pretty good. It's a weird feeling, right? I'm staying in shape and staying ready if the right thing pops up and comes available, but also at the same time just really enjoying where I'm at and the time with the family.
But would you want to be a backup? Like, explain the right opportunity. Do you want to pull a Flacco? He won comeback player of the year. He should have, like one of those things like that. Or are you like officially retired? Like, where's your head at right now?
I mean, right now I think it's going to depend on situation, right? It's not at this point. I've been blessed to play 12 years and be where I'm at. So just trying to weigh all those options, right? When the situation occurs, nothing really felt right, through free agency, and through that, I had a lot of peace with it. That nothing outstanding jumped up, and so just said, hey, I'll take a step back, and if something comes up on down the road, whether that's training camp, maybe a guy goes down on a team and gives me a call. You never know what's going to happen, right? So just keeping the options open, but at the same time, not waiting on pins and needles for that call, right? I'm enjoying where I'm at, enjoying where my feet are at, where my family life is, and if something comes up, then fantastic. I'll jump wholeheartedly into it, but at the same time, not purely just waiting on that.
We're very interested in how it all ended there in Tennessee for you. Not only are you no longer on the team, we know that Derrick Henry is no longer there. Your head coach, Mike Vrabel, is no longer the head coach. Do you think Vrabel should have been fired?
I don't know. I enjoy playing for Vrabel. He did a lot of great things. Was definitely one of the best, not the best head coach I played for, as far as how we prepared as a team, how he educated the team on a weekly basis. Situationally, I always felt like we were really good, and game management, I felt like we were really good, and that's a lot where the head coach comes in. I don't know what their reasons were for letting him go, but I am thankful for my time with him and how he impacted my career and made an impact on the guys around me.
Take us back to that time, Ryan, where I think it was week 5 or week 6, you replaced Marcus Mariota and just went on an absolute tear. I mean, I'm in Chicago watching you roll, and I'm like, this dude used to play receiver. You guys don't understand. This dude is the truth, like always been one of your biggest fans. Like, what was that like, that moment like, and then how did that lead for the next few years into the culture that you helped set and build in Tennessee, really culminating with that 2021 AFC Championship game in Arrowhead?
It was a lot of fun, man. I had a lot of fun. Basically, at that point, I had nothing to lose, and I was just trying to play free, just go out, and had a lot of great guys around me. AJ was in his rookie year and playing really well. Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, Derek, obviously, in the backfield. We just had a bunch of guys who kind of gelled together, and we're playing well, right? We had some ups and downs through that season, but we found our stride at the right time and leaned on each other, and were able to make a run. And then, that core was together for, about another year. And then, guys started leaving and, things changed a little bit. But, had a lot of fun with those guys, some epic times, some locker room celebrations that I'll never forget. And just a special time for sure.
Yeah, that run was really magical. I was at ESPN at the time, and I'd been covering you guys for a few years. And it was because the Titans were my assignment, because I think at the time they weren't that popular, and I was kind of like low on the totem pole of NFL reporters. And then all of a sudden you guys become just studs. And I remember talking to everybody at ESPN like, no, this is my team. I'm with the Titans now. I'm the Titans reporter. And then you guys go all the way to the AFC Championship game. When you reflect back on your career, would you say playing at that level in front of that many people was a sure career highlight for you?
Oh, for sure. Like I said, it was a ton of fun. And just that playoff run, we had so much fun as a team, and those are the moments you dream of. Obviously, came up one game short there, but those are the moments you dream of, when you're a kid, and then even when you're not a kid, you're a 35-year-old kid. That's what your goal is, right? So that's what you're training for. Even now when I'm working out, right, I'm still thinking that like you never know, right? You never know what can happen. So. Got to stay physically and mentally ready, and keep that hunger inside you.
Last year, the Titans draft Will Levis, and then Will Levis comes to the building, and it appears that he is the guy that Tennessee wants to be the future. What is that dynamic like when you're the starting quarterback and a team drafts a player that that they want to see out there eventually?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a fun place to be. Obviously, a lot of people have been through it. It's nothing new. It's part of the business. And we had a good relationship, right? There was no animosity or anything, right? I didn't have hard feelings against Will. He's trying to chase his dream just like, I was coming out of college too, right? So there was no hard feelings there, and, tried to help him out along the way, just like, I did with Malik, a couple of years prior to that, So, no hard feelings. Obviously, it's a weird feeling a little bit because the underlying theme of what's trying to happen, and at the same time, like you're doing your best to go out and win football games and make that happen down the road and not right now. Obviously, we weren't winning a lot of games, so then I got injured, right, which made it happen sooner rather than later, but. We'll see what things happen. He's a very talented guy. He's big, he's physical, he's got a great arm, and did some great things, when he got in there last year. So, we'll see what happens, and I wish him nothing but the best.
You played under Arthur Smith, I think, for 2 years when he was offensive coordinator for you guys. He obviously took the offensive coordinator job with the Steelers. Russell Wilson, Justin Fields there. Have you been following it? What can you give us about just the type of offense and the continuity and the leadership that Arthur Smith's going to have? It's a big job for him. They got to decide on a quarterback. Dianna is reporting for sure that Russell Wilson's in the pole position. But I just want to know your thoughts on him because I know you guys had a pretty decent relationship.
Yeah, Arthur's great, man. I really enjoyed my time with him as a coordinator. We really had a close relationship, and I felt like he pushed me in a way that a lot of not that other coaches didn't push me, right? But he pushed me in a great way, right? He had just the right touch of push without, being over the top where it became a negative thing. Pushed me to try unconventional things with the play actions and things that I hadn't really done before, right? It was kind of new to me, a lot of the stuff that we were doing, and pushed me to just jump it in and give it a try, So I did, and it was working. And so I just kept trusting him and kept, leaning into it. And together we were able to make a lot of positive strides for the offense.
So we're seeing right now Kirk Cousins in Atlanta, right? They draft Michael Penix Jr. at the top of the draft. Most people were shocked. Were you surprised when you saw that yourself? How is that going to work?
Yeah, I was definitely shocked to see obviously Kirk coming off the big deal in the offseason, and then drafting another quarterback in the first round. As a quarterback, obviously you want to see weapons or, just a really talented guy added to a position that can hopefully contribute, immediately, right? And especially, first, second, third rounds, those are guys that you want to have on the field, like I said, making an impact early on, and to bring in a guy who, hopefully if things go well for you as a starter, like he doesn't hit the field ever during your time there, right? So, this feels like a missing piece that could have helped you out and helped the team out immediately. That I guess management, whoever has a long-term vision that didn't include making a big impact right now. So yeah, it's a weird dynamic, and obviously, as a competitor and selfishly, you want that piece to be added into your hands immediately, where you can, have a receiver or a left tackle. I don't know what they needed, right? But just something that can make an immediate impact, and for that to go that way, I know the feeling, and it's not a good one.
Yeah. Are starting quarterbacks, when they have a backup that perhaps the organization wants or likes or drafted, like we saw in Tennessee, like we're seeing in Atlanta, even maybe in Minnesota, with Sam Darnold trying to get that starting job there over the rookie. Are you, as the starter, watching everything the rookie's doing in terms of all the reps he's taking, just kind of keeping that mental track to making sure you kind of have that edge? Because I just think the situation, it's uncomfortable.
It's not like that. For me, it was not like that. It was more like I'm super competitive with no matter who it is, right? Whether it's a guy they signed in the offseason to back me up, or a guy they drafted, right? Or when we're doing drills or throwing the nets or whatever the case may be, right? I was always competing, right? Maybe not for the job, right? But you're competing, to be the most accurate in the drill, or whatever the case may be. Every thing you did is a competition, right? So that's the way I looked at it, and I wasn't necessarily like keeping tabs on everything that he was doing. Obviously, you're watching all the reps together, and you're learning both ways, right? He's hopefully learning from me and the reps I'm taking, and then if anything pops up, like, oh, I like the way he did that. I'm not above learning from a younger guy who's very talented as well. So just trying to soak up as much as you can from the reps, whether it's on tape or in person, and then if it helps you, then add it to your game and keep it moving.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, Ryan, about quarterback rooms. I want to write a book about just the dynamic within quarterback rooms, because I've been a part of a lot. I've been one where I'm the rookie. I've been one where I'm the donut guy. I've been one where I'm the mentor. I've been one where I thought I was going to be in a starting job. Just a lot of different places. And you really just don't. I mean, I would agree with you. You really don't think about other people's reps, because if you're caught looking and thinking about what player A or player B did, you're not worried about yourself, and you're not getting yourself better. So that leads me into the question is, I know you said right situation, but at this point in your career, if it's right for your family, would you embrace that mentor type role that you've really never been in before? Or are you just looking for a place like a Flacco, like to start right away?
I'm not ruling anything out, right? If it was the right situation, and felt like it was a good fit for me and my family, then I'm not ruling anything out. Just have to be. I know it doesn't really tell you anything, right? If I say right situation, but I can't write it down on paper exactly.
I know.
Well, people don't understand. You got to move your whole family. If you're going to be in this, so you're going to have to move your whole family. You guys are set up in Nashville where you're at. You got a place in the Bahamas. Like, people don't understand the outside influences. So I understand, and I understand you're trying to give the viewers and the listeners something, but I get the right situation talk.
Yeah, I mean, I hate just giving constant blanket answers.
I get it.
Says nothing, but at the same time, it could be in place A through C, or A through whatever G, but then also it's got to be, what time of the year is it?
Exactly.
What's the number? What, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
For sure,
it all works together, right? And I feel like it's one of those things, when you know, and I feel like if that opportunity comes, then I'll know.
Well, don't you worry. As a reporter that's covered over 35, maybe 40 of your press conferences, you are the king of blanketed statements. I've had to transcribe you for years. Trust me, I know. With that being said, I do know, and this is just from being around you so much and your friends and your teammates, you do have a much looser side to you when you're not kind of in front of the cameras and doing the microphone thing and being the starting quarterback. But that being said, I'm learning tons about Chase. And I know you mentioned family camp. And
I'm sorry. I feel bad for you, really. I mean, you have to
Thank
spend this
you.
much
Come
time with them.
I'm learning. Trust me. I did not realize what I signed up for. So can you share with me a story of Chase, like what the listeners and viewers can hear just about who this man is outside of his constant online Twitter and social media posts and his amazing career as a football player?
Yeah, Chase is awesome, man. Getting to know him a little bit over these past couple of years has been a lot of fun. I think I see a different side of Chase. Like we all kind of go to this camp, and then it's like a week of Halloween, like so to speak. Like
totally.
I'm wearing boots and like denim outfits, right?
Totally
that we
why?
don't wear.
It's a dude ranch. So
you're in the mountains, you're riding horses.
You're in the mountains, you're riding horses, it's everyone like dresses country, and basically none of us are really
play it
country.
up.
Maybe Colt,
Colt McCoy for sure is, yeah.
Colt, maybe Tyler are kind of the only two.
Case
like,
a little
bit.
Case
a little
Keenum,
bit. So there's like guys that are like a little bit country, but for the most part, we're all just kind of like playing dress up for a week, and then I get to see Chase riding a horse, trying to control this thing, and then maybe send out a tweet on the side. We're like on the way to a ride, and he's like, "Look at this!" He's like showing me all his tweets that he's got going on, or he's like, it's easy, right? You just do this comparison, people go crazy.
Yeah, they do. So, they do.
It's a different world, right? But it's a lot of fun, man. It's great for the family. Kids love it, and there's nothing wrong, I guess, with having a little fun in a different atmosphere than you're normally in.
Yeah,
and,
camp sounds fun. Chase's lack of shame is fabulous for a podcast. So we love that he always has something to say, and we're learning tons about him. And I feel like we learned a lot about you. Before you go, we were thinking about how you like these high risk taking type of hobbies, right? It's
spearfishing, flying.
Yeah, a little bit.
Why do you think you like those? What is it about them?
I don't know exactly. I just really enjoy it. Maybe it's like, high
the rush,
the intensity, the rush, the adrenaline, playing football, right?
It's like running out the tunnel.
Yeah. It's like the same vein, right? A little differently. There's no sharks chasing you on the field, but it's the same vein where you have to be kind of focused flying, right? You have to be completely focused on what you're doing, but at the same time, there's like this freeing feeling, free diving, spearfishing, you're controlling your breath. You're trying to stay as relaxed as possible, but there is an element of risk, right? With the whole thing. So I don't know. It's that balance of being, calm in a state of chaos, I guess a little bit, right? Which is kind of like playing quarterback of, like I said, just staying calm in a wild situation, and no matter what's going around you, just finding your place of still and living in that.
Well, thanks for joining the show. When I give my
You're
kids
officially
their
a
tubs
resident
tonight, I'm sticking my head in the tub water, and I want to see how long I can hold my breath for. And I'm going to text you how long I did it for.
Do not do that. It's going to be 10 seconds.
Like, how long can you hold your breath for? Seriously, how long can you hold your breath for?
The longest I've ever done is like 4:30.
What?
Yeah.
4 minutes
like
and
my
30
mile
seconds?
time.
I can barely get 60 seconds. Oh my! You got to send us a video of you doing it, or I don't believe you. Actually, send us, if you're going spearfishing the next few days, send us a picture of that too. Like, please, I'm jealous.
I'll send you some pics. Of some fish. Wait, I got a question though. Did Chase put up any video of him riding horses?
No.
Has he showed his alter ego?
No. Please share.
We'll get some. It's
one of those too.
We were on a couple rides that we weren't supposed to be galloping, and I was straight up galloping on the horse, like barely like holding on. I felt bad for the horse, but it was wild. That when we went back into Maybe Ranch, my horse just took off running. I was like, okay, we're going.
Hard Knocks needs to stop following like the front office of the New York Giants. They need to just start videotaping you guys at family camp, because this sounds a lot more entertaining, and it just sounds a little weird to me from the outside, because the stories I've just been hearing from family camp since Chase and I have been doing the show, they just, I have a hard time imagining what this all is. And now that you've added another layer of the dude ranch, I did not know that last time. So I'm going to keep pretending this is a world that no one truly understands, but apparently it's fun and awesome. So
I think it's hard to understand until you like go, because the first year, we were going, I was looking at like a itinerary, and I'm like, whoa, this seems like a lot. I don't know. I don't really do horses. Like,
very busy.
I don't know how this is going to go. But,
and we're both from Texas, and we don't know how to ride horses until family camp.
Boats and planes.
What are we
That's
doing?
all this boy does. Boats and planes.
I know, right? But it's a lot of fun. Hopefully, we can get some video of face up, so everyone can see.
I'll send some.
I would love to. All I know, horses. I almost just want to have the podcast run for 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so people can really understand how long that is.
In silence. Oh my!
Because I don't think you get it. Just 4 minutes of silence. Welcome to Scoop City, episode 4.
You got to do it with a safety dive because there's a thing called the mammalian dive reflex where when your lips hit the water, you can actually hold your breath longer. So like if you're doing it, like on a couch, you're going to be able to hold your breath not as long as if you were like in a pool holding your water with your face submerged, right?
Fascinating.
Because of the dive reflex. So if you're going to do it in a pool, right? And just put your face under it, but you have to have a safety person, right? Because you don't want to pass out. And then
Diana, your husband can be the safety person. Go do it in the bathtub.
He may keep my head underwater. I'll be trying to come up, and he'll just keep his hand on my head.
You stop that. Thanks for joining us, RT, man. We appreciate you. Go spear some fish, and yeah, man, you're welcome back anytime.
It's awesome.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I'll send you guys a photo.
Can't wait.
All right, cool.
All right, see you guys.
Back here on Scoop City. All right, this segment is called New Season, New Look. We're seeing a lot of guys showing up to training camp with a little bit of a different appearance. Joe Burrow leading the way. The quarterback showed up with a shaved head, platinum blonde.
Very blonde.
Very blonde. Do you think he did it himself?
There's no way he did it himself.
You think he went to like a salon?
Extra blonde. He probably went to a salon. Hey, if you're the salon that did Joe Burrow's hair, come on, Scoop City. We'd love to have you.
What's the maintenance on that, you think?
Well, he shaved it pretty low, so it's going to grow out, and you're going to see some roots real quickly. So the dude, I wonder if he's going to keep it up. That's what I'm wondering.
Wait, why do you know so much about this?
Well, I was trying to look at my phone, but I don't know. In high school, I went to South Lake Carroll High School in Texas, and we dyed our hair blonde every playoff run that we were in. And I'm talking like a high school roster is like 90, 100 students. And some even coaches got in on the action. As soon as we went to the playoffs, everyone went to Fantastic Sam's, got their hair dyed, and it was like a look. Like it was just something that South Lake Carroll does. They still do it to this day. They did it like 10, 15 years before I was even there. So when the first year I was on varsity, I was a receiver, actually, Diana. And when they told me that I was starting, actually, at receiver, they said, hey, you need to dye your hair. I was like, I'm not dyeing my hair. I dyed my hair, and it became like red because they didn't leave it in long enough. So I had to go back to Fantastic Sam's. My guy Ken there, who cut my hair in high school all throughout, he said, yeah, we're going to need to leave it in for a few hours because my hair was pretty dark. And yeah, I didn't mind it. I did used to frost my tips when it was popular too. So all the blonde hairs.
You definitely come across as someone that did that. So that actually doesn't surprise me. The Fantastic Sam's drop is amazing too.
Awesome.
Everyone knows that. I also love the fact that you still remember the person that, I guess it's your barber or your hairstylist.
My guy. Yeah.
So do blondes have more touchdowns? Is this going to help? Joe?
I mean, we won 2 state championships and a national championship, so it's going to work for him. If I can do it in high school, he can do it at the next level.
Chase, then we have Brock Purdy and Daniel Jones showing up extra muscular. They look very jacked. I've never seen Daniel Jones look like this. The clips that the Giants are putting out, he's all chiseled, like Jersey Shore style. But my question for you, though, is, like, yeah, it looks awesome, looks great, you look healthy, you look big. But does it matter for a quarterback to have that type of muscle?
I mean, I think it does. I think it's too much. He looks like Brady Quinn, and Brady Quinn just was like obsessed with doing bench press and curls and triceps. That's like all he did. Look, I know Daniel Jones. He's trying to bulk up, so because he's a pretty good runner too. Trying to bulk up. I think he'll probably lose some muscle and lose some weight during training camp, like most guys do. So I understand that. I was more impressed, to be honest with you, at Brock Purdy. The dude looks like almost like a bodybuilder type thing. The only thing about being that jacked as a thrower is, Diana, look at the best thrower in the National Football League, Patrick Mahomes, dad bod central. I think there's something to be said about that, because when you are throwing and you have these huge muscles, which I don't really have them right now because I'm not working out, but you get a little bit of impingement on your shoulder and you're not able to get the zip on the ball. Look, it's hard for people to understand. Look at Tom Brady, his talks on pliability. You want to be able to actually be able to go all the way back and follow all the way through. Because when you're throwing a ball, this is a little bit crazy for you, Dan. I know you wanted to hear this today. When you're throwing a ball, your arm can only go forward as fast as it can slow down. So you want to work a lot of this backside shoulder cuff. So I don't really believe in all that. They look good, but we'll see how it happens in the season.
Look, I think it's just Daniel Jones going, my offensive line has been so bad all these years. I'm just going to muscle up the defenders this time because no one's protecting me. So I don't blame them.
It's true.
We got new season, same look, right? We have a lot of people showing up looking the same. Killer Stash is back. Travis showing up. Mustache. Arthur Smith's mustache is back. Did you see that?
Whose is better, Arthur Smith or Travis Kelce?
Travis Kelce's.
Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith has a dirty stash right now.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I saw the picture and I was like, he means business.
I've never looked at a man and went, gosh, I am so glad they have a mustache.
That's interesting.
I don't think...
My wife loves it. I had one in
Really?
2016. I shaved it for Christmas. And literally, my wife loves it. She was like, begged me to keep it. But we found out the day after I shaved a mustache that my wife was pregnant, and we were actually at my parents' house. So I had pictures of us telling my parents that we're pregnant, and we found out that we were pregnant with a mustache. So that's what I'll always remember. Honestly, my dad had like a crazy mustache for ever. So I like that.
Bottom line, Hillary really did love that mustache.
She loved it.
That's the takeaway there.
She loved it.
Jim Harbaugh and cleats showing up saying he feels like he's coming out of the womb on the first day. I mean,
yeah.
I love Jim Harbaugh, but he's so weird.
Yeah.
These sound bites are unbelievable. It's almost as if somebody wrote them and said, I dare you to go say this and see if people will eat this up. And they do.
Do you think that he thinks about these things beforehand at night? Or do you think it just comes to him on the spot?
Yeah, I think he talks to himself all day long. I think his mind is moving at a pace that we probably can't even comprehend.
It's an interesting comparison.
Speaking of a fast mind, Aaron Rodgers, right? Do you see him walking into training camp with the Egyptian cat? I loved it.
Job.
See, I love when he plays games like that because he knows all eyes are on him. He loves the attention.
He wants the attention.
And
he wants the attention.
Have some fun.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was funny, actually. I'm not going to lie.
Look, all that matters are the reports from our Zach Rosenblatt coming out of Jets camp. He looks incredible already. And I know it's early. I know everyone's saying it's just training camp. But
stay healthy. You got a shot.
Let's not forget, the guy's going to be 41 years old coming off an Achilles. The fact that he's out there practice looking as sharp as he does already, that's super impressive. All right, Chase, that's it for us. We going to shave our heads?
No. I don't have enough hair
You
to
grow
shave
your mustache
back? Maybe the stash. Maybe not, though. I'm good.
I think you should just dye the beard. Why not? That'll do it for us. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Tag me next time.
Thanks for tuning into Scoop City. If you want to hear more, make sure you like and subscribe. We drop our new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.